Welcome to the Hyborian Keep. I'm Old Man Hyborian. Here, we review tales of Robert E. Howard's greatest character, Conan the Barbarian. Today, we'll be reviewing Heroic Signatures in Titan Comics' Savage Sword of Conan Reforged issue number 6. This won't be some fluffy review. It'll be an old man's honest opinion. And just as a heads up, there will be spoilers. So I don't want you to go crying to your mummy if I say something that spoils it for you. If you don't want the spoilers, go to the summary at the end. And if you enjoy the video, please like and subscribe. And with that, let's get after it. So here we have Savage Sword of Conan Reforged, issue number 6. Just right from the get-go, this issue was $5 more than the previous issue. And I'm not really seeing the value for an extra $5 for this one. Now the cover by Tony Harris is excellent. I like the colors, how everything seems to be like on fire in that orange hue. I think that's pretty cool looking. But when you open it up, you get the same cover again. Now I like the cover, but I really see no sense of having the cover twice. That's really like the stupidest thing I've seen, is having two covers exactly the same for one book. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. And we have some Conan content and a pinup by Tim Conrad. Now I think the black and white version of Tim Conrad's pinup here was better than this colorized version. It's not bad, I don't mind it at all, but I definitely think the black and white was better. Then we have the credits for Heroic Signatures in Titan Comics and the table of contents, The People of the Black Circle Part 2. So this comes from 1977 Savage Sword of Conan issues 18. That had the cover done by Dan Atkins. And Savage Sword issue number 19, where the cover was done by Kenneth Morris. So these two issues are wrapped up in this Reforged issue. Artwork by John Buscema and Alfredo Alcala. So it starts off with, Conan, he's on the hunt for Yasmina after she was taken away in that dust cloud. He meets up with his men, but they are deeming him as a traitor, so they're not too happy with him, so they're chasing him around, and Conan stumbles across Gimsha, the sorcerer that took the swan dive off the mountainside, and he's dragged himself back out of the rubble. So he gives Conan his belt, which seems to have some kind of magical powers. Then Conan, he meets up with the Turanian spy that is the spy for the King of Turan, and they decide that they're going to team up and go looking for Yasmina. So she's in there with the master of Yimsha, and she's trying to escape. She's not liking being held captive, and then he puts some sort of a spell on her that, she relives all the lives of her previous self, or all the miseries of women and being tortured and such like that. Then she passes out when he's got the old skeleton face on the go. So one thing about the art on this is Big John's figures are always, A1 for sure. But Alfredo's inking, I don't know, it just wasn't the greatest, and it didn't seem to take the color too well. And even some of the coloring, like this one here, I'm not too struck on the purple mountains. So I didn't find that Alfredo's inks really took the color too well for this issue. So Conan, he's still trying to get into the castle with the Black Seers. His men are getting whittled down as they make their way. There's some funky fog there that he has to get through. Eventually he gets to the base of the castle, and they're whittled down to just a handful of men left. So they get into the castle. Conan beats his way in. Sees one of the Black Seers there One of Conan's men, he tries to shoot him with an arrow, but he grabs the arrow and then chucks it back down and it turns into a snake. So the story, you know, Roy does an excellent job with retelling Robert E. Howard's story for sure. Like, I thought it was pretty cool. He was very true to the story. Conan, he's saving the day, ends up killing these 4 black seers and meets the master himself. And that one's pretty cool there, that panel right there, where the master basically makes the spy's chest explode and takes his heart out. Then he tries to do a spell on Conan. Conan kind of works his way through it, surprises the sorcerer, and he takes off. Yasmina, she's screaming, there's a snake involved, and Conan, he's throwing his sword and uses his dagger and has his belt. So eventually he takes care of the snake. Gets a little bit of lick action from Yasmina. And they take off. Work their way back out through the fog. Conan, he's wanting her for his woman. But, you know, she's the queen and there's certain things that has to be done. And he's not too keen on that because that's a civilized way. Then they come across this valley that has all Conan's men being chased by all these men from Duran that was the spies' men. So Conan, he parts with Yasmina. He's off to kind of save his men. And in the distance, her army's coming to find her. So there's all these 3 different groups of men that are going to be clashing here. Conan, he gets down, rallies his guys. And with the help of Yasmina's men, they win out the day. And then this vulture, it comes and tackles the girl. Conan ends up cutting its throat and tossing it off the mountain, and as it's sputtering down, it turns from the vulture into the master, which is kind of cool. So Conan doesn't get the woman, she rides off. He doesn't seem to be too upset about it. So, story, Robert E. Howard's story for sure. Good story. Roy Thomas's adaptation to it was pretty bang on. Then we have chapter 3 of the Hyborian Kingdoms, which is kind of interesting. Some pretty good artwork there. Then we have another pin-up from Tim Conrad. That's really not the best. Conan's face looked like it's all swollen up. I don't know, like he got stung by a bee or something. Yeah, it didn't take the color too well. And then we have an image of Dan Aiken's original cover. Back cover has some of the Conan novels that are coming out. And then what's coming up for the next issue, The Slithering Shadow. Hopefully it presents a little bit better than this one at a lower cost. So that's it. That's Savage Sword of Conan Reforged issue 6. Excellent cover. A little disappointed on the artwork, but Roy's storytelling kind of saves the day. Well, there you have it. Heroic Signatures in Titan Comics, Savage Sword of Conan Reforged number 6. I have to be honest, because here at the Keep, we shoot our arrows straight. This was a disappointing issue. Hey, the cover price, $5 extra for 15 pages. You got 2 covers, but I purchased cover A, so I got 2 covers of cover A. Why in the name of God do I need 2 covers of cover A? Whoever made that decision was kind of numb. The interior artwork, John Buscema, his figures spot on as usual, but Alfredo's inking didn't seem to take the color very well. Of all the Reforged issues so far, this was the least favorite for me. The coloring just didn't seem to be as top-notch as the other issues. Now, Roy Thomas's adaptation of Robert E. Howard's tale, that was spot on for sure. Enjoyed that part of it. But if you got 20 extra bucks, you may want to spend it on this. My recommendation is you wait for the trade paperback. That, I think, would be better value for your money. And with that, I bid you farewell.